I'm a digital marketer, and I specialize in getting the word out. I specialize in very precise, innovative strategy. And why do I limit myself on social media? I never have. There's other mediums.
Welcome to the Cowles Ventures Podcast.
We can just jump right in, I guess.
Let's go.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for coming. I got a mutual connection, so she hooked it up. But excited to talk to you and to learn more about your career and your background and everything you've been through. People probably most know you from First Ave Coffee. If people have been there, I've been there. Great coffee shop. But I mean, from your vast history on LinkedIn that I scoured this morning, I mean, you've been kind of touched on, any industry that people could want. So we can just kind of, roll through that. I mean, how did you go from, the first thing that I saw on your LinkedIn is, McDonald's for a couple of years in the chef in the kitchen, and then auto body, and then now you're doing coffee, but also digital media marketing. I mean, how does that all come together into you? Good question.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on.
This
is super exciting. I don't know. That's a pretty loaded question. Because there's a lot of things that have happened in my life that I can't even calculate. They just happened, and so I'll just be transparent. I haven't worked at McDonald's for 40 years.
It was right. It was in the 90s, but yeah.
But I knew when one of the most frustrating things when I started our agency is people would omit things from the resume to try and look good.
Yeah.
And so I felt I have fun stories that I learned at McDonald's that I still apply to my life today. It doesn't matter. And plus, those people spent billions of dollars on their systems and processes, and none of them have changed much. Equipment changed, the processes changed, but you go to drive-thru, you're getting your food in 5 minutes or less most of the time. Anyway, so whatever. Not that I've established any learnings that I'd use for pivots today, but still, it's there. And you're literally the first person that actually called it out, so that's cool. It's been on there.
I did my research.
Yeah, it's the first thing I put on when I got my LinkedIn account in 2009, I think. It was when LinkedIn first came out. I'm like, oh, what's this? Got to try it out. Well, let's see. Where do I begin? I don't know. Ask me the question one more time. Maybe.
In general, it's if people were to look you up, they see, first of all, McDonald's. I feel like we've talked too much about McDonald's at this point, promoting it. But McDonald's, and then it goes, auto body shops in various aspects. And then it goes, I believe it was photography, and then a GoPro sponsorship or working with them in some regard. And then it kind of branches into what I think is kind of the more up-to-date version of what you do. And it's more in the marketing, digital media marketing, into the coffee business, into, some podcasts in there. How did you go from, a very siloed off industry in kind of that traditional blue collar, working with your hands, working on cars, that kind of stuff, into now, completely different. Now is more entrepreneurial, more that. What was kind of the path that brought you from the start to where you are now?
Time and chance. So I was in a really bad accident at the end of it's what took me from my auto body career.
Okay.
I'd probably die banging out cars. It's in my veins. We went to a car show this weekend. I was just
Coeur d'Alene?
No, we went to the one up at Wendell Ford.
Okay, nice.
And my wife was like, "Are you excited?" I don't usually get over the top about stuff, but when you get me in front of anything that runs on fuel or four wheels, I get pretty stoked up. That's just in my blood. When I was in 8th grade, I decided I was going to be an auto collision tech, and it was just a fascinating thing. I'd been into model cars since I was 7, and my mom trusted me with model glue. It's flammable all over it. And for whatever reason, I got into my neighbor kids. My friends in the neighborhood, we'd all start trading model car parts and building these custom machines. And by the time I was 15 or so, we went to the the county fair and they had models in there. I'm like, you know, they're getting ribbons for it. I'm like, oh, next year I'm going to enter, you know? And I don't know, it just fascinated me that you could take something normal and make it special.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's what led me to where I'm at today. Literally everything I try and do is I never look at other people's competition. I look at other people as, well, they're doing what works. I have to do that too. And I don't want to compete with them, but I want to do things different. I want to make it like, lately I've been saying surprise and delight way too much. Like that's my idea of customer service. So there you go. But then take it back. Like, I had 18 years in auto body and I had this wild hair that I wanted to start my own business. And so, over the years of being married, we had our first home, and I did really good at fixing that up and finishing the basement. I was natural at some of these things, you know. So I really wanted to start a business doing handyman work. And so I took a job at another body shop that was easier work to do. And I didn't realize how hard I was on myself at my previous job. But I was able to keep my standards and still crank out work at half the time and focus on my other idea of growing a business. Yeah. But in the process, I got injured, and I got hit by a truck when I was walking.
Oh my gosh.
And so it wrecked my back and turned into a unrealistic L&I disaster.
Yeah.
And so 4 years of navigating what that was going to look like for my family. And ultimately they starved us out. And I shouldn't say they did it intentionally. I mean, corrupt investigators can do whatever they want, get away with it when they're in that kind of system. And I think it was like a house of cards that just finally collapsed, and it didn't work in my favor. However, it ended up, the truth was told, and everything worked out. But in that 4 years, I did lose, our family lost everything. Jeez. So when it came time to get back to work, I'd spent a lot of time trying to figure out what this Facebook thing was, and how did Twitter jump from text to being an app on an iPhone. And it was just fascinating to me. And so one hobby that I had with my dad was ham radio. And we got good to talking at people and making connections without ever seeing them or making physical contact. And then eventually, you know, we'd end up finding them at, I don't know, what would you call it, get-togethers or whatever, you know, or, you know, I was heavy into emergency services when I was in high school. And because I was good with ham radio, so it was a need back then. We didn't have text, we didn't have cell towers. You just used repeaters on a mountain next to the radio station towers. Weird stuff. I mean, back then that wasn't even high tech, it was just what you did. And so when Twitter came out, that was just natural for me. I could, and 120 characters, that was so cool. Like, you had to figure out how to write what you meant in one tweet and get your point across. And then pictures came out, and that's when everything changed for me. I could actually take a photo of what I was trying to say, because that's 1,000 words. And then you still have 120 characters to get people to look at your photo. It was the Wild West. So anyways, as I was trying to figure out what the next steps were for our family, just out of necessity, we scrapped enough money together. I got a laptop at Best Buy over Thanksgiving for Black Friday for like $200. It doesn't work. I mean, it's a beater machine these days. You know, there's just absolutely no way it would work. So I have it on my shelf in my office as a reminder of what it takes to get things done. And anyways, where I'm going with this, I built, unbeknownst to me, I built a brand online that was just telling my story across the country on Facebook and Instagram. And to me, 10,000 likes on Facebook meant nothing. It was like, well, how can I use this to my advantage? And so I get this laptop, and I found this thing called Launchpad, Bill Kalivas. And I found it on Twitter and clicked the link, and it's like, oh my goodness, I can post on Twitter and Facebook at the same time from this one thing. I'm all over that. So it kind of opened this door of like productivity with things unseen. Still, I'd yet to meet anybody. And So I get invited to Launchpad's grand opening in downtown Spokane, and I decided it was worth spending the gas money to go to the invitation. I show up and met people I'd never seen before, but they knew who I was before I ever met them because of my online activity. I had the time.
Right.
I wasn't working.
Yeah.
So I'm just like making connections, you know, like, oh, where could this go? Where could this go? And anyway, I don't know, it was like 4 months in, and one of the gals heard my story, and she's like, do you need a logo? And so she helped me make a logo for my artwork that I was doing at the time. And I was branded as this artwork project I was doing. And so she helped me with that. I started opening art galleries and using Launchpad's system to help amplify it and whatever. And it was only a matter of time. I get invited to this employee appreciation event for the gal that made my logo that she didn't charge me for, knowing good and well she was going to get reach off of me. Yeah. I had no idea what this all was, you know. And Bill Kalivas was there, and I went up to him like, hey, can I run your brands? Can I use your Twitter account and see if I can get people to fill up your events? Because I was hearing this chirp that there was a problem. Anyway, he laughed it off. He's like, oh, that's dumb. You don't even want to waste your time on that. I'm like, actually, I think I'm going to open an agency that's social media only. I'll be the first in Spokane. And he's like,
what year was this?
This would have been 2000, the winter of 2010.
Okay. So this was like, I mean, still in the early days of social media. I mean, like
Pinterest didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is still kind of a ramble ride. It wasn't really anything
so
yet.
People weren't really aware of like the magnitude of like today. If you're like, I want to open up a social media agency, first of all, people are going to be like, well, there's a million of those because it's like so powerful. Okay. In
this time context, still no photos are being shared unless it was on Launchpad. You could share photos on Launchpad and share the link on Twitter. No photos, just a link. Facebook was kind of doing photos, but people were so amped that it was so bad. Like, why are you changing our platform? You know, like the boomers were just ticked, you know? And I'm over here like, well, you can do it on Launchpad. When's it going to happen on Facebook? Because it'll change everything. Yeah. And others were probably saying it too. I'm not saying I was like the pinnacle. I mean, I'm in Spokane not knowing what I'm doing. I'm just seeing opportunities presenting itself with things I didn't even have to make. And so the context of time, no photos on we couldn't share photos with our phones. We couldn't share photos we couldn't upload anything from our computers unless it was on Google Photos or what was the other thing? Oh, forums. You could upload photos on forums, and then you could copy the link and paste it into a post, and people would have to click out, go into a forum. I mean, it was hilarious.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But here's the other fascinating thing. It was literally 6 months later, we were uploading photos from our phones to Twitter. Yeah. It was sick. It was like, happened so quick. Anyways, so Bill Kalivas, I waited another hour, and it was, it was time for me to get going. And I'm like, hey, I'm just going to throw it out there one more time. And he's like, whatever, contact me Monday. And if you're this passionate about it, absolutely, you can do it. And so for 6 months, I ran the Launchpad account, not having a clue. I mean, I barely passed English class in high school, you know. But I was able to put words together. I definitely had good grammar. I knew where commas went and things like that for some reason. I don't know. I guess it was a gift. And so 6 months later, I had the opportunity to do a project with KXOY Broadcast Group here in Spokane. Okay. Launchpad and Valley Chamber. And we blew this event up, me and another guy that was already working for KXOY. Anyway, it got me on the radar. And in that same time, I was working with Startup Weekend. Okay. So, which is now called Sparks.
I don't know. I mean,
it doesn't exist in our area right now.
Right. Yeah.
It still exists. It's a worldwide movement.
Sure.
But Brett Noyes was putting it on. He's not around here anymore. He lives in California now, but he saw me online. He's like, hey, you want to come help me get the word out about Startup Weekend? He's like, you're literally the idea of a startup that's actually working. You should go do this. So I rallied up this laptop, and I grabbed another one. I had 2 laptops. I had one on Twitter, one on Facebook, and I was live doing everything, you know. And So at the end of 6 months with Bill and 2 startup weekends under my belt, I had this opportunity to do a recap meeting at KXLY, and that's when Kinetek started. And this would have been in 2011 in the spring, like, you know, a few months ago in the spring, and 15 years ago. And so we blew this event up. GoDaddy, we got GoDaddy to come. Bill ended up hiring the CMO from vice president of marketing or something like that. I still see her on LinkedIn, and it's fun seeing her progress. But anyway, she moved to Spokane and helped him out a little bit. And here I am, like, what's next? I don't know, but I got to feed my family. I got to go. I got to figure this out. And I had screenshots from what I did with Launchpad, so I knew someone would listen. But what I didn't realize is everybody wanted what I had. I just didn't know how to get it. And so anyway, we did this recap meeting with KXLY, and I ended up, they were our first client. And I worked with them for 3 years, and I just told them, like, hey, have you ever thought about having somebody live tweet your morning shows? No one gets to see it. How about some now we call it BTS, but I didn't know what those terms meant back then. So I'm like, just show people what's going on while they're on air, you know? And so we started connecting the dots between radio, what they called it, radio hits, I don't remember the radio term, where they go live on scene somewhere. They had a certain term for it, which radio people are going to be all over me for not remembering. Anyways, we took those concepts and we tried fixing them up on Twitter, and it blew up. It was so good. We were giving tickets away to all kinds of cool stuff on Twitter. Like, if you weren't on Twitter and you were listening to this radio show, you didn't get the free stuff. So we built a really good following. Then at some point, I decided to get into e-commerce and leaned heavy into startup weekend, and that's when Kinetek really took off. So there you go. That was up to 15 years ago.
Jeez. I mean, so you were kind of doing, an early mover in what now is a huge industry.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. It was huge then, don't get me wrong. Email was the first social media platform ever to exist. And that'd been around for 15, 20 years before Twitter ever existed.
I mean, what was the fascination for you with the social platforms, with Twitter, with Facebook? I mean, what specific aspect about that, like, drew you in to kind of lean all in on that one area of business?
It's interesting. We were just talking about this yesterday, my wife and I, and she's like, well, you should get into communications. You know, as I was telling her about my ham radio experience, of all things, I have no idea where that came up, but we were talking about it, and she's like, you're such a nerd. And I'm like, yeah, well, this nerd worked at Firestorm in Spokane, you know, like I was in high school helping firefighters be safe. Anyway, I think it all kind of comes from this fascination of you can speak to anybody that will listen and direct people to an interest they already have by telling stories. I mean, it was fascinating, and I'm an efficiency type person. I like production. I like to make things happen with the least amount of effort, but more of it quicker at high quality. That's kind of my jam, right? And I did that for years in auto body. It was baked into my DNA. And so when you get into this, I still have that same vibe, you know, when it comes to the details of how to make something click. I mean, there was so many ways to use Twitter back in the day that no one had explored. It was, you know, the PR people were all about precision copy and like you have to have all your its and thes and ands in there. And I was like, forget that. That's what slashes and dashes are for, you know, cut this stuff up. And then when photos came out, like I say, that just brightened my world because you could making graphics. Like, they have a graphics team at KXLY, and we were just sharing these knucklehead photos, and people were moving on them. I'm like, how much cooler would it be to take a photo and put copy on top of it? Not only is it 1,000 words in the photo, but you're getting your point across, and then you have 120 characters to use. Graphic designers were out of their brains. They're like, we don't even have that size in our editing software. Like, we can't make 600 by 600. They couldn't go there. And I'm like, well, make it 1,000 by 1,000 and I'll figure it out, you know, whatever, just make me a square graphic, you know? And, anyways, I guess the natural fascination to me is like, you can do it. You can change the world here. Like, you can move people.
Yeah.
And I was in the business of moving people anyway. So it's like, it wasn't really a big, I think a lot of people got scared to death that they would make a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Many people made many mistakes on Twitter and got canceled because of it. Like, it is not a place to screw around.
Yeah.
But when you're passionate about, like, in auto body, that whole thing about being scared doesn't exist, because if you forget to tighten a lug nut, someone's going to die. Mm-hmm. If you don't put the radiator cap on or the hose tight, someone's going to get too hot or too cold. You can't screw up. You just can't. There's no margin for error. But we did all the time. We would mess up all the time. It's just that we... my mentor and boss back in the day, he used to say, you know what the difference is between a professional and an amateur? A professional knows how to fix their mistakes before they get caught. So there you go, you know? Yeah. And so, like, I would always go through this process of elimination in seconds. Like, if I post this, what could happen? Yeah. And it started with words, and that's the biggest thing to carry weight, you know, is what your words say. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm getting to a ramble point here.
No, I totally agree with you. It's funny you brought that up, because we were talking about that this morning, of the people online that have, you know, all amassed all these followers on LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever. I mean, it's not that they're saying things that, you know, we're not talking about day to day. It's that they're consistently online, posting at least once a day, twice a day, you know, 3 times a day, whatever. And they're kind of just like, it's just stream of consciousness that they're just like, I'm thinking about this. And they're not scared about one post of like, oh, like, what if someone sees this and blah, blah. And I think that's where, and you're right. If people, you know, they're going online and they're like, like, I don't know. And they think way too much about it. And the people that are like actually successful at it are just like firing stuff up. I mean, they're posting so much that you're just like, you can't even look at it all to judge them on it.
Totally. I mean, you're going to find what you want. And, you know, everything changed. Like, it was changing so quick. Like, upload speeds on the internet was changing how social media was going to interact with the public. And everybody was scrambling to figure everything out. Mark Zuckerberg was trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Jack Dorsey was trying to figure it out. I mean, these guys were just at the cusp of, they were able to get things done because they had the mentality to code correctly and put it in the right place at the right time. We were the recipients of their genius. Mm-hmm. And then how do we be the genius? You know what I mean? It's like, well, if they could do this and I'm using their free platform, how do I respect that freedom? You know what I mean? And as we know, I mean, 2009 to 2012, there was so much change and so many new fascinating things coming at you. Yeah. I mean, MySpace deteriorated the second Facebook went to, you know, public profiles. Yeah. It just gone. I mean, it was next wave, right? Yeah. And we remember, I can totally remember me and the people that were working in 2012, something changed, but no one knew what it was. It was when the algorithm kicked in. And they were telling us weird things, like they were going to start prioritizing posts that had X, Y, and Z on it, which now we know was likes. But they wouldn't tell you. All you have to do is get people to hit the like button because they wanted it to be pure engagement, like Thanksgiving conversations, right? Yeah. Interest, people that won't go to sleep when you're talking. And so the algorithm really kicked in. And as you know, now we're in a very well thought out age, 20 years later. Well, no, I guess it's 14, 15 years later, the algorithm isn't going to exist in a few months just because AI is going to become the way of the way it gets done. And it's still similar. I mean, whatever. People are interested in things. That's the way it is. But you can see this massive division in our country. And I know it's not just our country. Other countries are experiencing it too because Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. Anything with an algorithm, it has a heartbeat. Algorithms is a heartbeat digital, right? Yeah. And mathematicians figured out how to give people what they want. So let's say you're really into burgers and that's all you care. Well, okay, let's say I'm really into coffee and that's all I care about. My feed will be filled with coffee. And it's literally how long you stay on one reel or one post, engage with it, whatever. It gives you more of that. So now let's say you're really interested in something politically that works for you, but your neighbor doesn't like it, but it's okay. You have a debate. Your phone picks up on it, and now it's going to serve you content that you agree with, even though your neighbor doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's more of it, and it starts driving you up and starts getting you ramped up. I mean, you should see how excited I get about a coffee drink that we could totally put on in the coffee shop, right? And then people love it, and it's like, oh yeah, I want more of that. Give me more, give me more. Well, the same goes to negativity, and unfortunately, that's something that will have to over time get remedied. And I think anything can go sideways if there isn't good regulation.
Definitely.
I mean, it was literally 2 years ago, they were still governing how Facebook, all the social media platforms worked based off of the power company regulations, because they consume power.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating. So now the FCC has stepped in, and they've got some channel things that kind of help. But I mean, there's an epidemic of young girls committing suicide because the things aren't working out for them on Instagram. That's not right. That's not right.
That's crazy.
So it begs the reason why I'm still in the business, but I don't market to those people. So they don't see my content, I guess, but I'm not trying to justify it. It's a problem that needs to get fixed, and they're working on it. I mean, to Zuckerberg's credit, when he was confronted with it by Congress, he went to work on it.
Well, I'm sure even for them, they're like, I mean, we're working on it, but the thing is kind of a mind of its own at this point. It's
That's right.
I mean,
You can't
so
reverse
big.
it.
It's like, I don't even know where you would even start.
Yeah, that's it. It's an algorithm.
Yeah.
It's on its way to work,
Yeah.
But still, AI is coming, and now it's a training experience, not a code experience.
Yeah,
Anyways,
exactly. I mean, how has your guys' expertise? That's the good thing about this podcast, man. I knew this is like my favorite part of this is we just go here and then here, and it just like finds its own way. For you guys, how has your expertise in the digital marketing, social media space changed from when you first started until now? Are you guys, constantly trying to have to reevaluate with algorithms, with short form content, et cetera? I mean, I don't even know. Like, how do you guys think about that when new clients are asking your guys' opinion?
I mean, if you're going to be in the business, you got to think about it all the time. You should never stress about it because it's happening. Yeah. It's going to change. One of the biggest things that I added to our culture at Kinetek is innovation. The willingness to pivot is the only way you're going to stay alive. Like, you're going to crush yourself in worry, scarcity. Like, where did it all go? It worked yesterday. It doesn't now. It's like, well, no matter what, you have to communicate to people.
Yeah.
And you have to care through that, and you have to help others. It's that never left humanity. Just because we have these free, easy things and this fun new stuff and viral content. So, the way we navigate it is we just do it. I don't think it's necessarily we have a guideline or a structure or anything like that. 99% of the time, when I have a new hire or new project or something and a question comes up, it's like, well, let's figure it out. There's no science behind it. They will not tell you what they change.
Yeah.
They'll show you the cool new features.
Sure.
And how that works. But when I see that, I'm like, well, what's in it for them?
Yeah.
How are they going to use me to get what they want, which is more cabbage,
Right.
And it's cool. Like, it's cool. Whatever. It's an amazing industry to be in because you've got all these sides moving all the time, know? So if you're a problem solver, it's literally digital engineering without code.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's fun. I don't know if that answered your question.
It does. Yeah. I think, a lot of people, probably have the same questions as you guys of, how do I stand out amongst like all the content that's out there? Like, how do we do this or that or whatever thing? And I think it kind of loops back to what you said earlier of like, you kind of just have to try a bunch of stuff and then like refine that. I feel like where people get stuck is in that scarcity mentality of like, well, I'm going to try this and this worked one time, so I'm going to keep trying that exact same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's like, well, why is it not working? It's like, well, because you can't always do that same thing. It's just big black box of like, nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it's easy. I was just talking to a colleague about this subject, and even for me, it's easy to get siloed in. Oh yeah, I'm a digital marketer.
Yeah.
So, and I specialize in social media. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it isn't. I'm a digital marketer, and I specialize in getting the word out. I specialize in very precise, innovative strategy. And why do I limit myself on social media? I never have. There's other mediums. That's why, I think year 3 of Kinetek, we deep dived on websites. Like WordPress started really progressing into front end editors where you could have a designer understand what we had to do on WordPress.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, okay, the way I speak online is the way it should be said on my website, you know? And so our strategy for social media became kind of the, what would you say, cruise control for our website design. So we would, even now when we build a website, well, what's your social strategy? And if they don't have one, we'll pseudo make them one. Because if we can't figure out what's going to show up in their For You feed on Instagram, then how would we even know their target audience?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all intertwined, right?
Yeah.
So then when you think of the medium of website, then you got your colors, your textures, you know, you got a complete brand guide. Well, what's your font? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have a font, you know, you got to have something that makes your conversation memorable.
Yeah.
And even now, I mean, that's probably the biggest hurdle for me to get over is like, okay, we have this beautiful brand. How are we going to use a social media post to project that? Like, when people come to a storefront or a website or whatever, should be zero surprises.
Yeah.
But boy, you can get all torn up about how that's going to look. So, you know, I mean, there's other mediums out there. Like we have Spotify now, we have YouTube Shorts, still kind of digital. But, you know, you get into AI, they're not doing this to just be free for everybody for much longer. You go back and look at the beginnings of Gmail, advertising everywhere when you open your inbox. I remember when the top 5 lines was advertising from sponsored, you know, box stores, whatever.
Sure.
It's just, I mean, we're weeks away from it happening in ChatGPT. You get OpenAI free account, you're going to get served.
Yeah.
Why are we not thinking about that already?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's topic of conversation at Kinetek.
Yeah.
When we're writing this copy, how is that going to be a conversation that would show up in AI on a blog post? I'm using air quotes for blog posts because, like, there's another medium you could use back in the day. You could get the word out in a big way with blog posts because before SEO, it was like you searched the word, it showed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I guess I'm trying to make the point that digital marketing, even saying you're a social media specialist, there's so much more you can access.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot.
Yeah. Like Linktree. It's the most underutilized tool when you're limited to one link for years on Instagram.
Right.
And you can't even share links on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, you kind of can on stories now. You kind of can on Reels, I guess, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it doesn't work as quite as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you brought up the advertising AI. I just saw something on Twitter. It was like last week. My buddy sent it to me, and it was someone installed this one script into Claude that when you, I don't know, query whatever, and it has the little like spinner thing, and it's like saying what it's working on. It installed a script into that so that it would plug ads into that one thing. So it'd be like, it would tell you what it's working on, and then it would flip to an ad about like something else, and that would pop up for a second, and then it would flip back to like what it's working on, and there would be another ad, and it was just like bing, 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 bing. It was just like, that's genius. Because when you're sitting there, you know, and you're waiting for it, and you're looking at the thing, and you're reading, okay, it's doing this, it's doing this, it's doing this. Oh, this thing's on sale. I should go look at that. Oh, it's doing
Absolutely.
this. So it's just like this constant, you know, pinball effect of
Nonstop.
like ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
And like we're rethinking everything. I mean, we work with a lot of partners with SEO, and AI is so far beyond SEO in less than a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what it took for SEO to be what it is, where people are actually making a living producing content for SEO, search engine optimization. AI is now the new thing. I mean, I don't know if anyone's paying attention. I mean, I sure wasn't, but for the last 6 months, I've been getting my Google is no longer a search, it's a conversation with Gemini.
Right.
Those Gemini conversations will soon become website links first, and they already are actually.
Yeah.
They already are.
Yeah.
I love that it's pulling from old school social media though.
Yeah.
You can ask it a question about, I don't know, edging your lawn, and it could show you the first post ever put up on Instagram in 2011. You know what I'm saying? That was a video.
Yeah.
And it's vertical or it's horizontal. You know what I mean? But this guy had the knowledge, and it shows up with AI search.
Yeah.
It's a conversation. We're in a conversational world right now.
Yeah.
And it won't change. Having a conversation with your phone, with your computer, with your device, whatever, It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stunning.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
When you think about it that way. Where did this kind of drive? Because at the heart of all of this is like a desire to bring people together, right? Bring people in brands, connect them with events or things they might like. I mean, for you, like, where does that kind of stem from as a person, that desire to bring people together and create that community?
I'm not sure. I guess I need to deep dive on that and research that on myself and see where it came from. But as you were asking that question, I'm like, oh yeah, when I was 18, I was getting as many people together and hitting the Centennial Trail on rollerblades, doing crazy stuff. And I guess I just have the natural ability to bring people together, not by a manipulative tact or anything like that. I just like to see people happy together, I was raised as a quiet kid, and I think I had this fierce like desire to be friendly. I've never ever had a problem walking into a room and finding the person in the corner is quiet and striking up a conversation.
Sure.
That does not bother me. Yeah. But I do not like making people feel awkward. So I guess there's kind of this thing that you navigate, but online you don't see any of that. Yeah. You don't know who's in the corner, the wallflowers. You don't know who the leaders are. Everybody's there for a reason. Yeah. And so it makes that connectivity super fun. But I don't know. I really don't know. It's not like I want to be the center of attention or anything like that, but I do love hospitality. I've seen my wife do this for years. Like, a friend of ours has a party or something. Oh, let's have it at our house. And then she blows that thing up. And like, it's cool to see when people get together and it's, unexpected, happiness. And it's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So I think that has something to do with it, but there's like this, I don't want to use the wrong terms, not for any other reason than pick the right one that matters to everybody. But I think connection is the way it is. It could mean fellowship to some people. It could mean family to others. It could mean, inspiration. I don't know. But getting two people having a civil conversation about something they agree on or disagree on and figuring out how to work it out, you leave inspired every time. And it maybe seeing more people do that in my, from my activity, inspires that in me, I guess. I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. So then where does coffee play into all of this?
Sure.
Because you're also owner and operator of First Ave Coffee.
Yeah. First Avenue Coffee. Oh man, that's a heartstrings one. When I first started Kinetek, when I was on Twitter before Kinetek happened, I met this lady on Instagram or on Twitter, and her name was Deb DeBernardo, and she owned Roast House Coffee here in Spokane, and she just started. She was into biking. She's doing these crazy things on the internet, and I'm just like, wow, that's cool. Like, whoever this is gets it. I didn't know. I mean, I knew her name, but I didn't know. You can't hear voices. Right. You just don't talk to people. You just chat with people. And anyway, I'm going to find a way I could spend a whole episode telling this amazing networking story that actually produced. But Deb and I became friends on Twitter before we ever met. And I would say she's 15 years my senior. And I started Kinetek the same year she started Roast House Coffee. Okay, so there's that establishment. We meet on Twitter. We're chattering all the time, whatever. I always knew if I needed a retweet, I could send something to her and I could tweet it to her. I could, I'd tag her in a tweet and she'd retweet it. And I found nerdy ways to get reach on stuff. And same went for her. She could send it. I was into it, you know. And she's out here passionately talking about how to make, coffee fair trade and organic. Like, dude, we were talking 2012. We were talking about organic coffee. I didn't know what all this meant. But in that same time, my wife and I were just fascinated with good coffee. You go down a coffee aisle and it smells so good, but we didn't know it wasn't good, right? You go to a fancy restaurant and you order a cup of coffee. It was like, oh yeah, that's cool. You know, I wish whatever. And back then you just had Mr. Coffee, you know, I think home espresso machines were out of the picture. And it took a few years for that to actually happen. My
espresso machine is a Mr. Coffee espresso machine. Fun fact.
And there you go. Nothing wrong with that. It's a squeezer.
It's $5 at a garage sale. I was like,
even better. So we were on the down and out. We didn't have any money, and my wife had a birthday, and I think she turned, I don't remember, it was 25 or something. But anyway, ended up all of her family took her to Downriver Grill, which is now closed, and the family made her a cake, and so they'd asked the chef in advance, hey, we'll pay you to cut this cake, which is highly illegal. So he brought us a knife and whatever, but he brought coffee out to enjoy with the cake on the house. And we sipped this coffee, and I remember we both looked at each other, oh, this is what we were looking for. So the chef came out and wished my wife a happy birthday, and hey, who's this coffee? And he's like, oh, it's Deb at Roast House. We just got a pour-over service. I'm like, pour-overs? What the heck is that? Can you show it to me? He's like, no, I can't take you back there, but here's her number. Call her. She'll show you, you know. And within a week, just by chance, she invited me to her 1-year anniversary party at the roastery. And it was the first time I'd ever done anything in 4 years of being injured by myself without my family. So I was feeling dripping in guilt, like I was going to do this. I wanted to see what was going on at the roastery, you know, and I'm stoked. I'm like, anyway, met Deb, and there was so many people in there. That little roastery was packed, like spilling out the door. And so I weasel in there, and I'm really nervous because I'd never been in this kind of packed house, you know, and I was invited by Twitter. I didn't know what to expect. And then there was people from Launchpad there. And then there was people that I'd met on Twitter but hadn't met in person yet. And here it comes. It was just lockstep. And then I got to sample coffee. And she starts telling her story, and it's like, that's the kind of person I want to be around. Plus, she owned all the knowledge to coffee I needed, you know? And so anyway, she was my first, I stopped there and worked in her office once in a while, and I started doing all her marketing. So, and for no pay, like we were friends. And for years I was helping her on her Twitter account, just posting content, getting her coffee out to events, finding relationships, things like that, as she was also tweeting. So she was herself. I was the fuel, if you will. No pun intended. Okay, so this was in 2012. So now pump forward to 2017. Kinetek is huge. I'm like crazy amount of people going on, whatever. And Deb calls me and say, hey, I heard you, I can't remember what, but I had gotten into hotels. And I gotten into restaurants, big time into restaurants. Like that was my favorite thing to do, is to market restaurants. And she's like, hey, you need to come to the roastery. I got to show you something. Anyways, she had First Avenue coffee taped out in her garage area in the roastery, which she told me, she's like, I'm going to open a coffee shop. It's going to be downtown on First Avenue, and we are going to blow it up. And so she showed me that, and so I helped her with the design work and things like that, and she hired a graphic designer, and this is my first opportunity at seeing how an agency could connect, right? So she hired to create her logo, and me and her head roaster, Aaron, whom I'm really good friends with, and now still, all started kind of noodling on what a coffee bar could look like in Spokane, and ultimately they were in charge of all that. That wasn't me, but I'm on the background like, okay, on Twitter this could look cool, in a photo this could look cool, you know. We were kind of gnarring it all out, you know. And in 2018 she opened First Avenue Coffee, and that was where I went for every single meeting. Like it was my downtown place to bring people, and we connected hardcore after that. I'm skipping out a lot of details here, so if this is getting long, it could be another hour.
That's all right.
So now 2018 happens, 2 years constant in there. I mean, I'm working out of there. I'm buying coffee from there, you know, and our coffee journey had progressed at home. So there was like this deep understanding and connection to what she was doing as a business and a movement. And she was interested in what I was. I mean, I was getting paid for coffee, with coffee. We were doing great. I mean, I would take all my money.
Yeah.
I just want to do the coffee.
Yeah.
So in our hardest times, my wife and I found ways. I'm just going to drop this parentheses in here, double click on this spot. There was 4 years where we were just down and out. And the way I entertained people that came over for any kind of hospitality was coffee drinks.
Okay.
I was figuring out how to make really fancy coffee drinks, and we were using AeroPress, pour over, whatever.
Yeah.
So all of the methods were kind of the fascinating feature, right? And then eventually I was able to pick up an espresso machine that was broken, and I fixed it and made it work on our countertop. It became a necessary appliance in our kitchen, and we still have one today. I had to replace it. I fixed it till it was broke. But anyway, then we got into actually making lattes. My specialty for a long time was teacup lattes. I'd use my wife's really fancy china that she inherited, and we'd do single shot lattes and put latte art on top of it.
Awesome.
It was fun. And so anyways, 2018 to 2020, it was like a boom on First Ave, and then the pandemic hit, and we both just went and hyper stressed on our businesses. And then in 2022, we reconnected again. I mean, we were always talking, but never in person really. And we came up with a few ideas, and I kept dropping in, whatever. And then 3 years ago, so this is almost the end of June. So 3.5 years ago, she texted me out of the blue and said, "Hey, would you and Carrie take over the coffee shop? I don't want this to be my family's problem." And so two things wrong with that statement is, number one, she's thinking it's a problem. And number two, what's wrong with Dad?
She's like, "It's on fire. Here you go." I don't want anymore.
So her lease was up in June. She texted us in March. And she'd been asking chefs and things like that in Spokane. They just weren't interested in getting into coffee.
Sure.
And that's the circle she was in. It was like Adam Higstead, Chef Chad White, those types. And they didn't want to get into coffee for various reasons. They just didn't have bandwidth for it. Breweries made better money, I guess.
Sure.
And anyway, this was her third round of cancer. And this one was the third round is what took her life. And she's no longer with us. She passed away 1.5 years ago.
Jeez.
But when she texted me, she had 3 months to live. And so by the time we got all the paperwork done, we figured out how to assume debt and get this thing manageable in some fashion. She should have been gone by then, but she lasted another 1.5 years. She stayed with us for 1.5 years, which to me, that's a testament to her willpower. Like she willed herself alive. It was crazy. She had work to get done. And so she came in a couple times, but it just made her sad to be in there because she lost her baby. She gave up her baby, you know.
I bet.
And so we respect that. And a lot of the things that I won't change in there is just a piece of her memories with me, you know.
Yeah.
So it's cool. So that's how the coffee shop essentially happened. And yes, a coffee shop was in the plans. I really wanted to open a coffee shop. I wanted to express community and hospitality in Spokane my way, because I know it worked when I was on Twitter. You know, I know how to do it. It's just a different medium.
Yeah.
And I love coffee. I knew the business. I helped build it. You know, it worked out. We literally, Deb, when she was alive, she's like, "Now, wasn't that just the craziest, absurd business deal?" Like, she gave us the keys to everything. Here you go. If you have questions, let us know. And Carrie and I just jumped in and tapped the gas. And I think it was 3 months we were operating without paperwork or a signature anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. There's the trust that was embedded with our relationship. But anyways, so there you go. That's how I got into coffee.
What an incredible story.
And if I went deeper, it'd be even more incredible. Yeah. But there you go. That's the sprinkles on top of the heavy icing.
Full
on the
story
cake.
for next time. God, what an incredible story. I mean, that is like absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've got nothing to add. I mean, that is an insane story. I mean, where did that initial, love and I don't know, curiosity for coffee come from? Because many people have that. It's a very not common, but when people kind of get into you know, those types of things. Like some people are into cocktails or tea or whatever, but coffee is always one where people are like, I mean, you get super into it, like the different beans and where they're from and like the community that goes behind it and the whole like, you know, history and all of that. I mean, for you, like where did that start? And like, how did you and Deb kind of bond over that? Like, where did that come from?
We definitely bonded over the goodness of coffee, not the vibe or the culture of coffee. Culture, she hated culture. She's like, you just pour water on a pour over. And she would do blind taste tests on people all the time with a V40 and a Melita. And she would just pour water on one, pour water on the other. And then she'd have her head roaster just like gooseneck it, nice and slow, bloom it up, you know. And then she'd blind taste test it on a customer and you couldn't tell. And she'd even do classes. She's like, here's how you do a pour over correct. She'd get out her Walmart pitcher and hit boil. And she's like, when the bubbles start, you stop it, you put your beans in, and then you pour it onto the top and you let it sit. And she's like, when I do this at home, when I'm doing my hair, I just let it spill over into the sink. I don't even care. Anyway, it's cool. She was just crazy that way. So when I'd help her teach classes, she'd always say, all right, we're getting into AeroPress. Doyle, you do it. Yeah. We'd show up to just be a, you know, present for the class. We always learn something from Deb. But I would say my wife is a natural, she's a natural, how do I say this? Because she wouldn't want me to call her a chef, but she's literally a home chef. Okay. She knows how to bring things together and people together. And I can't remember a time where someone wasn't complimenting her without her inquiring about her food, right? And so she's always had a palate for the finer things in life, but we'd always do it because she has the chef's touch. Mm-hmm. She could bring things together that you would least expect, and it tastes amazing. Yeah. And then give her a lobster tail, you're gonna be like floored, right? So those kinds of things, like she just knows how to put things together. And when she started saying the coffee's gross, like, okay, well, what do we need to do about that, you know? And so she kept asking the question. I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's something I need to fix. And so we kind of came together over coffee. And I don't want to get all nerdy, but before pour overs, it was Mr. Coffee. That's a pour over essentially, you know, but she was picky about keeping it clean. Mm-hmm. She would always say like, okay, it's splattering up, so it must be getting grimy, you know, coffee's just naturally acid. Yeah. So anyways, we get good smelling coffee at the store and our guts would hurt. It always hurt. Yeah. And we're like, well, maybe coffee isn't for us, but we liked having coffee available, you know? And it was kind of something to enjoy that wasn't alcoholic, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we had kids and they couldn't drink it. And so it was special. Mm-hmm. And a year prior to Deb, I took Carrie for her birthday. We ended up at Starbucks, and they had these bags, and they were special. They're private reserve. Yeah, I don't remember what they called it. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But it was called Casa Cielo, and it was this cool branding. So I'm fascinated with how things look, you know, like the way things are put together. And this is totally off the cuff for Starbucks. I don't even remember if it said Starbucks on it. I'd have to see if I can find a picture of it. And so we went to the baristas and we're like, what's this? And they're like, oh yeah, we have that every year in January, but it'll be gone, you know, or I guess it was December, but it'll be gone in the first week of January. Sure. We don't have it anymore. Yeah. We bought some, but it came whole bean. They didn't have a grinder. Yeah. And so we went to the store and bought this nut breaker thing, you know, and we just beat the coffee until it worked. And it tasted so good. Yeah. But we didn't know what the difference between buying ground coffee and grinding it yourself was. Right. And we eventually ended up with a Cuisinart grinder, and we're still drinking this Casa Cielo. And I didn't know it went away. Yeah. So I think January 10th or something, I go in to pick up another bag, and it was gone. It's gone. What the heck? And then her birthday happened. Deb shows up. So there you go. We were on a journey to figure it out. And Deb's number one thing, she said, if coffee hurts your gut, it's not really coffee. Yeah. Coffee is one of those things that's natural from the earth, and it should be respected, just like prime steak. Mm-hmm. That was her thing. Yeah. And she's like, we go find the good coffee and we bring it to the people. Yeah. One of her, and I'll end with this on the coffee thing. We thought that it had to be organic to feel good. Mm-hmm. And she would constantly tell us, she's like, she's like, the only reason I do that is to make sure these women get noticed, because she would go to the Congo and activate women who lost their husbands to genocide, and help them get their farms up off the ground again. And so she was helping the moms and the kids get these coffees going. And so she would go down to South America and she would get them certified USDA organic, which is you don't even want to know. Like that's beyond ridiculous to do. And then you come back to the States, and when the beans show up, you have to get those ones certified USA organic. And so these farmers are benefiting from her generosity of fair trade. And so we were in there drinking coffee one day. She was showing us this new blend that she'd come up with, and she's like, you know what blows my mind? 99% of our customers don't even care if it's organic. She's like, they just like it because it's good coffee. Yeah. And she's like, so that was kind of her thing, and it was more than being organic. Yeah. But it was the end result. If you care about the farm, if you care about the farmer, and you source good beans, you're going to feel good. Coffee was not meant to make your gut hurt. Yeah. It was not meant to make your gut hurt. It was meant to uplift people. It's a commodity. Anyway,
I love it. That's awesome. I mean, what's next for you? I mean, you've got the coffee business going. You've got Kinetek still up and running. I mean, anything else in the fire, in the flames? Always.
So I do want to clarify. The coffee shop to me was not scary at all. Like, I'd been in the trenches in marketing with all the restaurants. Been around some of the best chefs in America. And this was my chance to take my learnings from the backside of what marketing was to chefs and take it to the next level of coffee. So we're still on that journey. I don't think anyone will ever figure that out. Yeah. So I'll caveat that. If you're going to get into coffee, you don't get in it to make money.
Sure.
You get in it to build community. And with community comes opportunity, which brings you the next best thing that could be the next thing. You know what I mean? I mean, I've never worried about what that's going to be. I just keep going, doing, and if it makes sense, you do it. If it doesn't make sense, it was a good experience. Okay, so there's all that. I look at my journey in hospitality as an extension of our media company. We're literally telling our employees now that we're not really a coffee shop. We're a media company that sells coffee. Yeah. So, like, if the lights are on, there's content just dripping out of this place. Sure. So it's a mindset change. We can't expect baristas to be taking selfies and, all that. But how about we excel in customer service? It costs you no extra skills, and I'll train you in everything you need to know about it. And our customers leave happy every time. Yeah. Then you get people taking pictures and putting it on the internet for us, and you get 5-star review. It's a project. It's a marketing project. That's how I look at it. So Spork's Biscuit Bar, we started that a year ago. My wife got involved in the kitchen, and we ended up getting chefs that were on, pastry chefs and bakers that were on board with kind of what she was thinking. And there again is a whole nother journey, but why buy baked goods when you have the oven and you can do it yourself? Mm-hmm. So, like, at the shop, we bake everything in-house. That's awesome. And we make all of our own syrups. We do everything we possibly can to make everything special under our own devices, if you will. Yeah. And so out of that, we had a baker that just one day said, we got to do Southern style biscuits. No one's doing biscuits in Spokane. And it put our shop on the map. And we had people coming in for the biscuits, but you can only eat a buttery biscuit once in a while.
Sure. Yeah, it's not an everyday thing.
Smart people quit eating them. But I started seeing them going in the garbage, because at the end of the day, we couldn't keep them overnight. They've been out in the open air, on display. And so I started asking the baristas to save them and freeze them at night. So I ended up with about 30 biscuits frozen. And I went and cut them all in half. And I'm like, if I'm willing to go to McDonald's and buy a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, why am I not making them? Yeah. A day-old biscuit's going to taste better than a McDonald's biscuit.
For sure.
I was not wrong. Yeah. So then I started figuring out how to get with our resources and find people that could get us good ingredients. So we now make a black pepper frittata, and it's the egg that keeps the whole thing together, and put cheese on it, some bacon, and it's fire. So we put that on the menu, and we couldn't keep them in stock.
Yeah.
People just loved it.
Yeah.
So we had this opportunity to open a shop of some sort. We didn't know what it was. It was just a space up in the Skywalk over by the parkade. I've always wanted to do something in the parkade. It's just like, it's a thing. So I have good memories of my parents bringing me down to the Skywalk and hanging out downtown and not even buying anything, you know, just hanging out.
Sure.
But Mom would take me to Orange Julius, and we had this donut shop down there we liked. And I mean, Gen X, you know, we love that kind of stuff.
I love it.
And so I knew there was a company in the space we have now. There was Chef Chad White had the lobster bar in there.
Okay. And
it died during the pandemic just because the cost of lobster went so high. So I knew there was a way to make money up there. It was just a matter of what do we do. And I mean, we're good with coffee, so we knew we could do that. But Indaba's right under us, and I just couldn't let the dream go. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I worked with the landlord, and we came up with a deal that seemed to make sense. Otherwise, it would just stay dark.
Yeah.
And I soft opened Sporks I soft opened Sporks, and I knew if we had biscuits, we'd make money.
Yeah.
Right. And it didn't take much to keep it alive at the time.
Yeah.
So I soft opened the place for 6 weeks, and over the time, I developed a biscuit menu that would blow your mind because I had time. It's like menu creation is one of the things that we help all of our food clients with.
Sure.
Like, not that we would come up with what they're going to do, but we would design the menu after they gave us the stuff.
Yeah.
So I always had this vision of like, well, if it's on the menu, here's how I can make it taste. I was reverse engineering it all the time. And by the time we had our grand opening, we were Sporks Biscuit Bar, and then we had salads and other things for lunch for the business community on that end of the Skywalk. Sure. And I had six biscuit offerings. So my theory is biscuits alone are great, but they're even better with something in between.
Sure.
And so we have rips on different sandwiches. We have a Cubano, we have a BLT, we have a Monte Cristo, and they're all based just in a biscuit. So it's super sick. It's super fun.
That's awesome.
But Sporks is an AI project. I decided to figure out how to build the whole thing with AI. So my business plan, my every ounce of it, except for the labor, obviously, our employees and stuff. But I built it all and designed it all just like the back bar at the coffee shop. And so now we can give extra hours to our baristas. They can go up there and be our Sporks person for a day. So it's working out pretty good.
That's crazy.
But so, you know, and Sporks, like, I love that it's making us money, but that wasn't the intention.
Sure.
It was an extension of our hospitality at First Ave, and it's a piece of our story. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, we're figuring out our way. The branding is the hardest part with AI. Like, you can't force AI to have a personality.
No.
And so now we're in this awkward stage, like, okay, I got to let the AI thing go. Right. We got to really make this work. So you'll see a lot of changes coming out with our brand and things like that, but we're having a lot of fun. It's supposed to be old school diner vibes and attacking the Gen Z mentality. Sure. So it's super fun. And no one hates biscuits.
No, everyone loves biscuits.
Absolutely. The biscuits and gravy are something to hang a hat on. Those are, it's super fun.
I'll have to go check it out.
So yeah, Kinetek AI, we're pivoting big time right now. We're launching High Drive Ventures here in the next few weeks, and it's going to be all about personal branding. We believe that modern branding is personal, and we can see that movement happening with Gen Z just because they were born with a phone in their hand. Yeah. They know the inside and out of iPhone 15 and on. And so everything that you see them doing, Gen X needs to do. But put a phone in front of me and I'll get cotton mouth and freeze up. Like, nah, I'm not going to be talking today. Sure. And so that's just the way it is. But what we're going towards is, if we can get Gen X behind a microphone and creating content, then we can share that with Gen Z, because Gen Z craves what Gen X possesses. Sure. We have knowledge that we aren't willing to share, just because who cares? Like, no one wants to know about it. Yeah. But when push comes to shove, when you have Gen Z out there exploring every restaurant in Spokane and selling homes like crazy, and then you have Gen X selling homes like crazy, what happens if you share your knowledge? Everything's going to triple down. It's a no-brainer. I mean, I've seen it on play after play after play. So that's what High Drive Ventures will be about, that. And then We're going to do a lot of experimenting with brands through AI, and figuring out how to use the platforms that are freely given to us to enhance people's brands. And we're talking like the micro brands, like not just a small business, but the micro business. So there'll be like sourdough bakers and realtors and boutiques, those types of things. Solopreneurs, they have amazing rich history. It just needs to get out of them.
Yeah.
And we can do it quietly behind a mic and then turn it into content with AI. So that's the synopsis there. We're also going to help enable Gen Z leaders coming up in marketing with all of the tools that we've learned and created in the last 15 years at Kinetek that still work. We use every single one of them. We're only enhancing them now with AI. How do we build out a play-by-play pitch or play-by-play learning deck for a Gen Z leader to be better for their boss because they don't want the information?
Yeah.
It's the stuff you can't learn in school.
Yeah.
No one knows how to teach this stuff. You learn it in the trenches doing the work.
Sure.
Yeah.
God, a lot coming up then.
A lot coming up.
Jeez.
I'm looking to build a new bakery.
Okay.
We want to triple down on sporks on the street front instead of the skywalk.
Okay.
Where there's a few other things that I want to do. So we'll see. But my number one goal right now in 2026 is to figure out one more way to get the skywalk brightened up and traffic walking through there. It's a beautiful place. We're one of 4 skywalks in the country, and we're the second biggest one outside of Minneapolis. So, I mean, it needs life, and we're starting to get it down. Working with Emily Cameron at DSP. She's kind of taken the lead on it, but Mayor shared interest in this, and Izzy from Izzy K-Pops is interested in doing something. Trevor from Trailbreaker. Yeah. We're going to start a movement. We got to get this going. I think there's a great way to get art hanging in every corner of the skywalk. And if we have cool little features like corn dogs and biscuits and coffees and ice cream and candy and, make it literally an adult carnival. Yeah. It'd be absolutely stunning. We have some of the most amazing artists in Spokane that are so underserved because they're introverts and they don't think anyone cares about their art yet.
Right.
They just don't know it. People love to see art in Spokane. Yeah. We're literally a museum society anyway. Give the people what they want. That's the way I see it.
Agreed. I love it. No, I love the skywalk. I actually just learned the whole route like maybe a year or 2 ago. Yeah. Because I didn't know that it like all connects throughout the whole city. It's pretty
1.2 miles of skywalk.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's cool. There's lots to do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up. I want to thank you for sharing your story and talking about your whole career, all of that. I mean, it's incredible story. So can't thank you enough for being a guest on the show.
I hope something helped. I mean, something's got to pop for somebody.
Absolutely. And then one last thing, if people want to reach out to you, learn more, find you on First Half Coffee or about Kinetek or about any one of the major other things, where can people find you, reach out to you, all that jazz?
Yeah. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at Doyle Wheeler, and you can find my website at doylewheeler.com. But honestly, the best way to find me is at the coffee shop. Okay. Come say hi. If I'm not there, DM me. I'll be there in a few minutes.
Okay. I love it. Awesome. Well, Doyle, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.